and jumped out the window as this bus became fully engulfed in flame.
Like a real...
Yeah.
You can see from the video that that bus, well, it will be an ex-bus.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, if there had been anybody on that bus other than the driver who got out a window, they would have burned alive.
Hi everyone, welcome to our Monday TNT. Well, for the next week, could be longer, be coming to you from this lovely little coffee shop right on the beach at Thai Mueang in Phang Nga province. Reason being that I've moved into a new property yesterday, hence the reason I'm looking so tired and, well, a little bit overwrought. But yeah, don't have any internet. They said it could be a few months until I get the internet there. So, well, we're just going to have to make do until we get there. Now, we do have a special report today. It'll be at the end of the program, pretty much as we saw just at the very start of the program, as described by Steve Rosse. So Steve will be joining us at the end of today's program to go through that story. Very dramatic bit of action here in the local Thai Mueang town. So we'll bring that to you at the end of the program, but plenty of other stuff to get to, including this one, and it's reported in the PattayaNews.com. Step-parents face charges for concealing deceased toddler in a refrigerator in Nonthaburi. Nonthaburi is sort of to the north and west of Bangkok City. And at 3 p.m. on January the 6th, the step-parents of a 2-year-old toddler who was found inside a refrigerator in Nonthaburi visited the Bangkok Town police to give their testimony. Now, there was a 31-year-old stepfather, a 25-year-old stepmother, and the 29-year-old biological father. And they visited the police station to give testimony regarding the case of a 2-year-old toddler found dead inside a refrigerator, wrapped by a cloth bag and tie holy thread. Now, it says the step-parents allegedly conspired to hide the body after the toddler was dead for 2 to 3 days and put the body inside the refrigerator as the strong smell started to spread, according to police. And traces shown on the body did not indicate the cause of death. However, the autopsy results would determine whether the step-parents physically assaulted the toddler to death or not. And the biological father told the police that he reportedly had little time to take care of the toddler as he had to work. He reportedly hired Hanarong for 500 baht a day to care for the toddler in his stead for 2 months. And she'd reportedly sent an update by sending photos of the toddler to on-the-apot occasionally. Obviously, a lot of unanswered questions in this rather tawdry story. on-the-apot did not believe the claims of the step-parents that the toddler ate sticky rice and it became stuck in his throat, causing him to die. He only realised his son passed away from the news, and neither of the step-parents told him about his son. And the Bangkok Town police officers pressed charges against the step-parents for failing to report the death and concealing the corpse, and the police objected to bail during the investigation. A little bit difficult to ascertain the actual relationship there between the child and those 3 adults that have been reported in this story. To another story, and we go to the Cowside English Facebook page. It says that a Russian man fell from the 8th floor of the Laguna Beach Pattaya condominium and died on the lawn beside the building. This happened on Saturday, and the condo's security guard informed the cops that about 1 a.m. on January the 6th, the individual came in, shook the entrance door. When he called, the man attempted to flee by climbing a wall, so he chased him. He later learned the Russian man was a resident of the condo, so he took him to his room. After about an hour had passed, the security guard heard a loud noise similar to an electric short circuit, but later found the man had fallen and died. Therefore, he immediately informed the police. So a certain level of mystery also surrounding that particular incident up in Pattaya at the Laguna Beach Pattaya condominium. Thanks for those people that joined us on our Saturday morning program. And yes, Grumpy Old Men will be back, but not for a few weeks. I'm just having at least 1 day off at the moment, but Steve and I will be back. In fact, you'll see Steve a little bit later on in the program doing that special report, and that's about a rather well, could have been an apocalyptic event. It actually ended up without anybody dying, but we'll find out more about that rather dramatic incident in little old Thai Mueang a bit later on in the program. Big thanks to 5 Star Marine, by the way, and their ongoing support of the program. We are in a cafe, so we're going to hear coffee grinders from time to time. Let's go to this story from nationthailand.com, reporting that civil groups joined Bangkokians in fighting BMA's new city plan. And critics argue the city plan primarily benefits property developers, potentially leading to the expropriation of land belonging to impoverished residents without their consent. Two things I'll just say up front. Firstly, we note that right in the middle of the Sukhumvit Strip, you've got that Klong Toi slums, and that would be very, very valuable land, and I imagine a lot of property developers would like to get their hands on that. We also note the current Prime Minister was the ex-CEO of Supalai, the largest property developer here in Thailand. And this perspective was not only expressed during the public hearing, but also echoed in a joint statement by civil groups, including the Thai Consumer Council, the Foundation for Consumers, the Network for the Protection of City Residents' Quality of Life, as well as affected Bangkok residents. And the public hearing on Saturday was the 4th revision of the new city plan. A lot of people obviously just suddenly finding out about it at this late stage. And Saturday's hearing was the final opportunity for public input before the city's plan is announced and open for a 90-day opposition period, after which it can be enforced. I think there is going to be quite a lot of opposition. And the joint statement from civil groups contends that the new city plan was formulated without seeking opinions from affected residents, bypassing necessary steps in the drafting process. And the chief of the Rights Protection Division of the Thai Consumers Council has accused the BMA of drafting the new city plan without holding public hearings first, which is flawed at the outset. Seems a bit arse about. Let me ask one question, he says. The drafting of the new city plan marked out 148 roads that are over 600 kilometres long and passed through people's homes without their knowledge. Who drew these 12, 16, 20, 30, 40 metre roads? Now, why not ask people first what they think they will get from these larger roads, which appear to only benefit property developers? And a former finance minister says only investors and property developers would gain from the 148 roads. The actual goal of the new city plan is to extend an opportunity to developers to build high-rises on the land of ordinary residents. And a Move Forward MP for the Klong Toi and Watana district said many Bangkok residents are unaware of the new city plan, even though it will affect their lives directly. Well, they know about it now, and I think there's going to be an increasing opposition to some of those plans that seem to have so far flown under the radar. Throwing caution to the wind with this next report. We'll see how we go without doing the usual censorship, which YouTube doesn't usually like me saying the word cannabis and demonetises the program, but we'll see how we go today. This reported in thephuketnews.com, but originally printed in Bangkok Post. A health minister signs bill banning recreational use of weed. And the Public Health Minister Cholnan has signed proposed legislation regarding cannabis, emphasising that it cannot be used for recreational purposes. He says the new law will clearly stipulate that cannabis must be used for medical purposes only. It will also encourage the use of cannabis for a range of health benefits. So the new health minister trying to unwind a rather complex situation that's developed since the decriminalisation of cannabis. It's going to be much more complicated going in reverse than it was forward. He said regarding the use of cannabis for recreational purposes, there will be a clear measure to control and prevent this. The measure may come in the form of ministerial regulation passed by the Cabinet or from a panel. Whether the buying of cannabis will require a medical certificate or not has not been included in the bill just yet. This may have to depend on the enforcement of organic laws. But using cannabis at home for medical purposes must be based on correct medical procedures and research. Yeah, like hell. And asked about the impact on cannabis stores, Dr. Cholnan said there have been no such laws set to revoke licences for running legally registered stores. Exactly what a legally registered store in the future will be, well, when it's not quite clear. But once the law is put in place, cannabis stores must sell only the parts of the cannabis plant that are deemed legal in Thailand. Now, only products containing over 0.2% THC by weight will be considered illegal. And Dr. Cholnan also said the law, when it's passed, will help police capture those who wrongly use cannabis for recreational purposes. This has been the problem. Police, in the absence of this cannabis law, have really been unable to act on people openly smoking cannabis recreationally, which is not technically illegal, but people basically doing it because there's no specific law saying they couldn't. So we're in this period where we're going to see a winding back of the current situation. Exactly how far it is wound back, how hard the police enforce it, we'll just have to see. We go to this story now from the partynews.com saying almost 500 minors found partying during a nightclub raid in Pathum Thani, north of Bangkok. And this happened at 12:30 a.m. on January the 7th, and it happened at the Heaven Rangsit on Soi Klong Luang 25 in Pathum Thani. Apparently they were allegedly secretly providing services without a valid licence to minors under the age of 20. They sold alcoholic beverages to minors under the age of 20. They annoyed locals with loud music and opened beyond prescribed legal hours. I thought some of those legal hours were now 4 a.m, but maybe they weren't legally registered. After the investigation, more than 50 police and relevant officers raided the Heaven Rangsit Club and discovered that the establishment had almost 1,000 visitors. 489 of them were minors, including students and youths. The lowest age was found to be only 16 years old. 41 people weren't carrying ID cards. And the matter's been submitted to the Governor of Pathum Thani to order an immediate closure of the establishment with a possible period of up to 5 years. Looks a bit more like a bus terminal waiting for about 17 buses. So another one of these nightclub barns, a lot of them very, very unsafe and not necessarily having all the legal safety and fire requirements. It looks like it's going to be closed down. So as I mentioned, we do have a bit of a special report this morning of an incident in sleepy old Thai Mueang. But the incident ended up here. It didn't actually start here, but a man who actually was on the phone going, "Tim, you'd never guess what's happened," on Saturday. But we can only report it here on Monday for the Daily TNT. Steve Rosse, thank you for dropping in.
Where is he? He owes me money.
Only one Steve Rosse.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
I found him. He's in a cafe in Thai Mueang Beach.
Open Channel D. Yeah, it was very exciting. It was probably one of the biggest things that's happened here in years, and it had a certain resonance. I've come to find out, you know, in '91, this dynamite truck exploded in Tung Maprao, just north of us. And for certain people here in town, because all the dead and injured from Tung Maprao were brought here after that event, what happened on Saturday had a certain resonance for some of the locals because of that. And what happened was, if you haven't seen it...
Just to backtrack, there was a bus that was commandeered by the driver. We don't actually know why. And it was either somewhere in Phuket. It's been reported in the Phuket Express as in Katu, but we suspect it was perhaps north of the bridge. Anyway, this bus driver did commandeer the bus. Off you go.
He was disgruntled at work, and wherever he took over the bus, his first action was to stop and kick all the passengers off the bus. which turns out to have been a very good thing.
Yeah.
Because then he fled north at a high rate of speed. By the time he got to Koh Loi, wherever the whole thing started, by the time he got to Koh Loi, which is a town halfway from us to the Saracen Bridge, they had shot out his tires, and he was rolling on 6 steel rims. And of course, sparks were shooting up and igniting the rubber that was still clinging to these rims into flames. So he was flying down the road at a high rate of speed in flames. Underneath, the undercarriage was all in flames. He got to Thai Mueang and decided he had to bail out, and he drove the thing, I don't know, intentionally or as an accident, into a concrete electric pole, snapped that thing in half, took out the lights, took out the electricity for half the town, and jumped out the window as this bus became fully engulfed in flame.
Like a real...
Yeah.
You can see from the video that that bus, well, it will be an X-bus.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, if there had been anybody on that bus other than the driver who got out a window, they would have burned alive. By the time he hit that light pole, there was no time left to get off the bus from the seats. And I only found out about it. I went downtown to talk to my lawyer. I went downtown to talk to my landlord. I don't have a lease yet. It's January, what is it, 8th, 7th? And I don't have a lease yet, so I was going downtown, and I'm putt-putting along.
So you're just squatting in your house now.
Yeah, I am, and he could throw me out at any time.
Sure.
So I went downtown to his stationery store, and I'm driving down the main road, and I'm in...
New rental property available on Turtle Beach.
Old sushi restaurant becomes available. I saw these orange cones across the road. But I was in a certain frame of mind. It was the middle of the afternoon, and my evening had begun. And I just went through this screen of cones. I didn't think about it. And then I'm driving up the street, and I'm thinking, there's no other traffic on the street. Where is everybody? And then I look ahead, and here is this bus. It was burned out at that point. But all the cops and the rescue workers and the firemen were still milling around it. And here's this Phang driving through them on his motorcycle. And I stopped and took some pictures and spoke to friends who had seen it, who had videoed as it was in flagrante. And and that's how I know what little bit I know. I don't read the Thai press, obviously.
So who should we thank for the video?
Condo. I have no idea what his official legal name is. His nickname is Condo. He's my bicycle repair guy. And Kun Chamnan, my handyman, my majordomo. They called him, you know, I don't know what Chamnan's position is in this community anymore. I used to think he was just an anonymous rubber tapper, just a by-the-hour, by-the-day agrarian worker. But whenever stuff like this happens, Chamnan's right in the middle of it. Nobody's chasing him away. When I got there, the electricity guys were dealing with the hot wires, you know, with sticks.
They're real hot wires.
Yeah, and Chamnan is the only civilian, the only guy not in an orange vest and a hard hat, standing there among the electricians, talking with them with his hands behind his back, just loitering, you know, behind the cones, behind the tape, behind the foam, the fire retardant foam. There's my friend Chamnan in the midst of it. So I'm starting to think this guy is a little more keyed into this community. Has nothing to do with the burned bus, but I'm starting to reevaluate my man Chamnan.
All right. So there we go. Pretty much on the spot reporting from Steve Rosse.
And the cops took him away. Everybody said, Mao Yaba, Mao Yaba, Mao Yaba. He's drunk on it, or intoxicated on methamphetamine, which perhaps
allegedly,
but Thais, I think, simply get excited to say Mao Yaba, Mao Yaba. And the cops took him away, and everything, by the next time I drove through downtown...
Back to normal.
Yeah, the concrete pole has been replaced. Yeah. The power's back on. The street has been cleaned. You know, it happened right in front of Makai, our favorite...
Coffee shop.
Our second favorite
favorite coffee shop.
And and that thing's made out of 150-year-old timber.
Sure.
If a spark had landed on that coffee shop, it would have been goodbye, Charlie. But it didn't. It survived. So Thai Mueang once again has really good karma And I've talked about why I think this place has good karma and good luck in the past, and I won't beat that dead horse again. But yeah, we dodged a bullet.
So this is why Steve doesn't work as a reporter on network TV. Well,
Yeah.
okay, we've got 1 minute, okay? 1 minute.
Yeah. Oh,
15
no,
minutes
no.
later.
Yeah.
Well, he was just coming down the street.
Yeah. Everything needs backstory. Everything needs to
Okay.
be placed in context.
And I will probably make this the end of the video, so I'll say thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Steve's going to have breakfast. We're doing the program actually from the
Chip
Chick-fil-A
Good. That's excellent.
coffee shop for the next week because I don't have any internet at my new place of residence. Please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks 5 Star Marine. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Oh, bye.